Did it show live for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, we are live. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good night. It's Ash with TC Spotlight. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Miss Caitlyn Ledbetter. I have with me tonight two wonderful ladies who have decided to join my page and my panel, Jen and Lisa Key. Um,
Yeah.
I'm very
Hello.
happy to have them here, so I won't be so nervous. And for many other reasons, because they really help out. So I would like to introduce you guys.
I'm happy to be with here and help you out as much as I can. And sure Lisa is too.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
Lisa just had an interview on Chasing Justice tonight about her son. I think you did awesome. You were very strong, and you had a lot of support.
Thank you.
Um, I like Chasing Justice. I like her a lot. I watch her videos, and I can tell we got the same temperament and the same kind of view on things.
Yeah.
So she's a very good one. She's a good one to go watch. Awesome. Um,
100% agree.
so yeah, I'm very glad to have you guys here. It should make things run a lot smoother.
Well, thank you. We're happy to be here.
Next, I want to introduce tonight. We have some of Kaitlyn Ledbetter's family here. They are on with us tonight. I have Kaylee and Tonda if they want to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Tonda. I'm Caitlyn's aunt. Um, she's been up here the last 6 weeks. Well, more than that, how long she? She was up here for a couple months before she went back, and then she went back, and within 2 days, she has been missing and not been seen or heard from since. So,
Just gonna get the word out there and
Yeah.
what really happened, what kind of person she was. She was free spirit. She was like a hippie. She had no care in the world. She didn't judge nobody. Like, this is the last person who deserves anything like that to
yeah,
happen.
right. And she would have never. She was very strong family background. She would have never
She never really
ever
left home.
done anything like this. That's a problem I had with um, the sheriff when it first came out. Was acting as if she had just taken off with somebody. Like, they don't know her.
Yeah.
We do, and we knew
Right.
it never happened. She would never do that.
Even the clothes places she was wearing.
Right. So there's just been a lot of questions and wondering, and with no kind of help whatsoever. We didn't even know where to go or who to turn to. And so somebody had me to look at the Aaron Keys case, and at that point, I'm very computer illiterate, very much so. I can tell you, and this probably was the first time I've ever posted anything. And when I read from Lisa about the Aaron Shane Keys case, I posted on there that I understood how she felt because I felt the same way about. I thought I was Caitlyn's aunt, and we've had no kind of nothing. I mean, we don't have anything, and it's really hard.
And everybody said you like you're crazy or something,
Yeah, and they act like she just wanted to hook off with somebody. They don't know her. They don't know her at all, and that didn't happen.
And that's
that's not even an option whatsoever.
That's my biggest thing in cases like this is, yeah, people do choose to walk away, but if you have a family that is strongly telling you that is not who this person was,
Exactly.
Right. They don't know the person, and you do know the person.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of nieces that might have done that.
Yeah,
but
me, I might have done that, but she would never do that.
Right.
So when Kaitlyn,
person that's just like not like she's on drugs. She might smoke weed, but that's all she did.
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah,
she wasn't.
I was gonna ask you because looking outside, I've kind of you see a lot out there in cases like this, and that was the first things I asked you is just who was she? Did she do any of the things that they were?
No, they have to be like really bad, like made a bad image of her. That's not who she was at all.
Yeah.
And anyone that knows her, like, even people from the school with, like, she's not like that at
And like
all.
you
She's
said,
quiet.
did she
Like,
do,
super quiet.
she drank a little bit. She might have done it,
Yeah,
but she wasn't known to be what would be associated as an
crazy.
addict or
Like,
an avid user
nope.
or any of those things from what you've told, you know.
Yeah. Just like a smoke of weed, that was it. And drink here and there.
Oh,
But as far as the other drugs, I don't know if she's probably tried it. I don't know, but she was never hooked on anything or
yeah.
knowledge. You know what I mean?
So when Caitlyn went back to Tennessee, she went back to where she was last seen was actually Turkeytown Road too,
Yep.
and that is where Aaron Shane Key was supposedly had hung himself, and he did not, and it's very questionable. And Miss Caitlyn was also last seen on Turkeytown Road at her father's house
Yep. I don't
on
know.
May 2nd, 2021.
That's what they say.
That's
Last time I talked to her, I think it was on the 29th of my friend's birthday. So last time I spoke to her, April 29th, yeah. So we pretty much talked like at least once a day or wrote each other. And then the last message I got from her was on May 2nd, but it was a message that I don't believe she wrote. And it was after the time that she took off from the house.
Yeah, it was a message that Kaylee received one. I got one. Kaylee received one. My other niece got one. And from what I understand, was her boyfriend's grandmother or somebody had received one. Uh, I knew immediately, and I didn't even look at it till later that evening.
I didn't either because I didn't.
And because I wasn't, I'm not
right. It was early. It was early in the
I
morning.
didn't really even look at it, And
Yeah.
then, but when I did read it, I was like, oh, that's not Kaitlyn, because she always had her phone. You had to have, what is it called, Kaylee? She had to have um, she had to have the internet. She didn't like have
Wi-Fi.
a carrier,
Yeah.
so she.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, well, because before her number had changed a few times, and I thought, well, somebody else maybe got that number, and
Right.
I just didn't think it was. I just really didn't think
You
it was
didn't think
her.
it was her. It didn't sound like
No, I did
anything that
not
she would
at all.
say.
And
So when she was reported missing, though, what time about did her
My
dad
dad
get?
told me that she took off from the house about 5:30 in the morning on May 2nd. That
And
message we received, it was at 7:58,
7:54.
7:54.
and a bunch of people received this message.
Yes,
Yes.
at least four. That
But it was all, worded a little bit different, but it wasn't even the way she didn't abbreviate things like that.
Yeah.
Or it was all misspelled. She referred to my grandparents, and she said grandparents, and she would call that. She would say, mama and papa. Like,
Right. Yeah.
it stood out to us a lot.
Then that changed. That 5:30 changed about three different times. So it started out, it was 5:30 in the morning, and then when I went down there.
So now that's what I was gonna say. She went back to Tennessee, and you don't have to say exactly where, but about how far away are you guys from Turkeytown Road in Tennessee?
About 5.5 hours.
Yeah, we're about 350 miles maybe.
Okay, so I just wanted to make people aware. Mm-hmm.
So, what was the thing?
So when did you guys go down there?
I went down there that same night. My dad called me probably about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the evening, and
On May 2nd.
On May 2nd. And as soon as he told me that Caitlyn was missing, like he said missing, said she took off. I knew. I started crying. I knew something happened to her. I didn't know what. But I knew she didn't take off. And he's like, "Don't come down here. She's fine. She'll probably be back later." And I just went down there and yeah, we searched for her. I was the only one that was trying to search for her. It was it's hard
Yeah.
being the only one that's trying to do anything. Everybody else is acting like nothing's going on.
So when you got down there, so what was the atmosphere like? What were some of the things? Was
So when I got there, well, my brother took me down there because my grandpa thought it'd be better if we both went together. So before we even left, my brother's already acting like, I'm overreacting. Everybody's like, I'm overreacting. And we get there. The next morning, my dad was going to file a missing person report. And I woke him up and he told me to. He wasn't ready and he slept in. And then finally we went probably about 9:30, the May 3rd. And he decided it would be a good idea if I went. So he tried to take me back home. And I was like, just drop me off somewhere if you want me to go. But I wanted to be part of it. So I always thought it was really odd. So he dropped me off like 2 hours at Burger King. Comes back. I have to keep it for it.
Hey, is it people are saying it's just a little hard to see it here. Is there any way that you could just move your
Oh, everyone wanting to.
I just want you guys to be heard so
Okay, is
much.
that better? Can you hear me better?
No,
Yeah, that's yeah, right there.
Okay, so I'm at Burger King for like 2 hours, and he comes back, him and his girlfriend, and they didn't have enough paperwork, or they said that she was over the age of 16, and there's nothing they could do about it. So I stayed down there for about 4 days, and me and my brother did, and we searched probably, I don't know, not as much as I wanted to, but I didn't want to go by myself either. Um,
Was your dad very helpful in searching
no,
for?
he just went with us one time, the very first time after he went. He supposedly made the report. Um, Me, my brother, and him went, and that's we went where he said to took off at, which is right across the street in a wooded area. And we looked around, and he started being really, really, he's a really mean person to like
Yeah.
me and Caitlyn, and my brother. My other sister, she doesn't get treated like that, but he started cussing me out and just making fun of me, and I don't
Is
know.
your
So
dad is he known to be like this normally?
yeah, that's the way he is. Yeah. So at that point, I'm all upset, and he's like, take her home, So my brother's like, we're going home, and I don't want to go home. It was a big old like mess. He's like, I'm gonna go ahead and keep walking and search down here, and so my brother took me back to the house. So my dad comes back about 2 hours later. He took off walking and took my brother's gun. Comes back a couple hours later, and he's got his shirt off, and it's cold outside. Like it was sprinkling, and it was really really cold. And he got the shirt off. He's sweating, crying like bawling like a baby. And I run outside, and I'm like, I thought he found her, or I didn't know what happened.
Oh,
And he
I
told
can't
me,
imagine.
she's gone. I don't know where she's at. I can't find her. And I'm like, why are you crying like that? And he's like, I just don't. Like, she's gonna come back. And sat on the couch the chair by the couch for about 45 minutes and cried like a baby. Like I've never seen my dad ever cry like that. And that's the only time he went out and fished for her. The whole time he was there. So
So what were your feelings
at
about
the time, from the time I had the phone call, I didn't
no,
know what. I just knew that, yeah, it wasn't what they were making it out to be. That she didn't just take off.
yeah. So I want to go back.
Hmm.
When that morning on May 2nd happened, what did your dad say was the reason why she even left that early in the morning?
He said that they had gotten in an argument about her boyfriend staying all night with her. He didn't want him there. Um, I guess that caused the argument. Then I got another story from his girlfriend. I mean, they kept changing. The story kept changing,
Mhm.
and in that little period of time, just getting there, she tells me that Caitlyn was trying to sacrifice her or something by her dog, and my dad kicked in the door, and she got
Now
scared and
your
go.
dad and his girlfriend were very much drug users.
Yes, yes, my dad, but for sure, I know. I know his girlfriend very well. I just met her, but I just what I've heard of, over the phone and stuff. But yeah, he was a very heavy drug user. Always has been.
Mom.
So like him saying, and he,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
there Was there anything else that, growing up or anything that would make, like, kind of solidify that he was kind of the sacrifice, like trying to do that?
I mean, he's a sociopath, or whatever you want to call it. Like, he has no emotion. It's all when he started crying like that. I've never seen him show any kind of emotion like that, like real, tears or anything like that. It's always like poor him, or he's never ever been a father to us. And I wouldn't put anything past him, honestly. He treated my mom horribly, and us. He was
I
like,
just wanted people to know why she initially even was said to have left that morning.
yeah, yeah. Well, he was known to put his hands on me and Caitlyn. So, I mean, if they got physical, also. I mean, he could put his hands on me when I
So,
was
in
pregnant.
relation to them fighting about her boyfriend being over there, why did that strike you odd at all?
Yeah. I mean, not really, because he always, made a big deal about him being there.
Yeah, he
When,
bitches about everything.
yeah,
So,
but the weird thing about it is, whenever she was staying with me right before this happened, they would talk on the phone, her and her boyfriend, like all night, all morning, and a few times she's like, "Where you at?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm at your house, your dad's house." She's like, "Why are you over
While
there?"
she was with you, went out there?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And she was like telling me, she's like, I don't understand why he's allowed there when I'm not there, but when I'm there, Dad doesn't want him there. So it's the whole situation is just very.
So, why do you? I know that you were talking about something that Caitlyn might have seen that she should not have seen.
Yeah. Um, there was I don't know how to put it, more of a relationship between my dad and her boyfriend, and she had proof of it, and she told me about it, and this was going on for at least a year and a half, 2 years. She's been telling me things like this, and I didn't really believe it until I seen evidence of it that she had. So
So she found this out.
yeah,
How soon before she found this out before this happened to her?
I don't know how soon it was before she actually had the evidence, but like I said, she had told me at least
Well, when did she tell you? Yeah.
about 2 years ago. She started telling me about little things here and there
God,
that she thought, but she wasn't for sure.
Yeah, that
She
she
would say
thought.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
she just
but
knew something wasn't right.
yeah, and then
And
this
then
kind
you
of stuff
find
up
out
to
that, he's over there, when she's not there, but when she's there, he's not allowed over there, and that just doesn't make sense.
yeah, and even when I first went down there on May 2nd, when I first met the girlfriend, she pointed out I didn't say anything. I've never told no one up until this happened, Caitlyn, about any of that. And
Yeah.
so she had told me, something's not right between them two. She's like, I'm really a lesbian, so I know, when someone's, messing around or whatever. And so when she said that, I was like, it just took off bells
So,
because I'm
so
like,
then, knowing all of this, flash forward to after Caitlyn went missing, that kind of,
hmm
makes you wonder about some of the how your father was acting.
yeah. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. It's hard to believe. Like, I feel bad for not believing. Not that I didn't believe her, but it's just crazy.
You wouldn't, yeah, yeah. I can definitely
And that
imagine.
was her thing. Is she sat at my house and she's like, Tonda, and she talked to me and I mean she broke down crying 2 or 3 times and she's like, Tonda, I'm not crazy. I said, I know you're not crazy, Caitlyn. I believe you. I believe you. And it wasn't even the whole thing of if that was even happening. It was the whole idea that she didn't think it was she didn't think it was happening. I mean that both parties was agreeable, but that party might have had something over on the other party. You know what I mean?
I see.
And that was her big deal is because she's like,
Um,
I don't care what and she didn't care what anybody did or who they did, nothing like that. I mean
Right, right.
she's very, I mean, the most, you know,
non-judgmental person.
non-judgmental person you ever met, and
She seems,
went
just from
down. And
hearing about,
so,
she seems like she was
but she
just,
didn't want anybody hurt either, or doing
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
She'd stand up and fight for it.
Yeah, she was. So
She'd stand up and fight for something that she believed in. There's no doubt about that. So, it's kind of a hard thing. And when I got down there, I didn't get down there to May 5th, I think,
Okay.
early morning hours. Um,
And Kaylee, were you already down there at this time?
I had went back.
she just left.
My brother,
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
this is another weird part of the story. My brother, out of nowhere, this was, let's see, on the last day I was there. I was there I think 4 days, so okay, 3 days. I don't know. It was right before you came down.
Right, it was the same day because you were going to go back down with us.
Yeah, I did go back down actually, but my brother takes me
I
home
was
out of
on the
nowhere, and he's just like, "Look, you're going home now." He's like, I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'm gonna go get your stuff. And I'm taking you home." He's like, "You don't need to be here no longer." And he was treating me like he's never treated me like the way he was acting just like my dad. And so I went back to the house, like grabbed my stuff, and I was like, "You can stay if you want." And Aaron's like, he has his mind made up. Oh yeah. So, anyways, my brother said, took me home, and the next day I had called Tonda and I told her, I feel like you need to go back down there. I feel like she was telling me like, she came to me and telling me that we needed to go search more for us. And I went down there and she drove separately. And when I got there, my dad cussed me out and told me I wasn't welcome, and he's gonna call the police on me. And
He wasn't going to let you search?
no, he wouldn't let me stay there at all. So I ended up leaving. I knocked on the door for at least 30 minutes before I even realized he was staring at me in the window with all the lights off.
Oh, wow.
Very creepy.
So now that's another thing I want to bring up. So there's been this like 7 foot tall. He said that she went out. Explain that. Explain that.
Okay, so yeah, when he called me the day on May 2nd and was telling me she took off, I was like, "What do you mean she took off?" He's like, "She went out the window." And she has a window that's, like ground level, and then she has one
Mhm.
that's way high up. And I have no idea how high it is, but it's pretty high. And I just said, like, I said, "What's a 7 foot window?" And like, ever since I said that, he
Sarcastically, yeah,
yeah, that
yeah.
stuck.
Mhm.
So,
And people
that's how
kind of
they
took
got,
it and ran with it a little bit. I feel.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But it is 7.
So we don't know.
At
We
least it's
don't
7.
know that.
Yeah, yeah. So he just said that.
I mean,
I
it's
don't see
just
how
based
she
off
would
of.
not got injured.
No, I don't either. But or how she even got out of it. There's
And
no
we
way
don't,
she got out of it.
all of
Yeah.
this
It's
is coming
impossible.
from her dad, who had a fight with, says he had a fight with her that morning. And you're not really sure what clothes she was wearing other than what he said that
No, but I do know this that my sister was not comfortable around my father wearing any kind of showing anything. You know, she wore basketball shorts or she wore any shorts. Like that's just how she was with him. And also the girlfriend, with her being coming on to her at different times and stuff, she didn't feel comfortable. So I know
So the
she would do that.
girlfriend, she really a girlfriend of your father's?
I had that. I to this day I don't know. That whole thing is very odd, and I want to point out that also Caitlyn had told me about this woman. This is before my dad got with her, and because he's never been with no one else. It's the only person he's been with since my mom, which
And they've been not together for
long,
how old were you, Kaylee?
like 20 years they haven't been
Yeah.
together. So and my
My
mother
mother
has
is-
passed away now.
Yeah.
She was 13, but so yeah, she's talking about this woman coming to her window, and she's like hysterical, and she's like saying she was a veteran, and she was, I don't
Yeah.
know, hysterical, and she was like half naked, drunk, and she was like, "It's the weirdest thing." She's like, "Because no one lives around here really, She's like, "You don't see that." Well, when my dad got with his girlfriend, it ended up being the same girl, and
Oh,
they swore up and down it wasn't, but she said, "Kaylee, I know it's the same girl." And come to find out, I guess she was staying behind my dad's house, the neighbor's house.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so I don't know how all that ties in, but it's another strange thing.
So after Caitlyn, when did the Ellie officially like take it serious? Have they?
No,
No.
not at all. They
What
went
are
with
some things that they have told you or have said to you or
Well, the first phone call I actually received from one of them was, he introduced himself, and he's like, well, what do you think happened? And I started telling him, I don't think she took off, and he stopped me right then and there and was like, I was talking about she got in a car with somebody, and me and him kind of had some words, and that was the last time he tried to contact me, and he told everyone I wouldn't cooperate, and just yeah,
there was a search said to have been done by some dogs. Can we clear that? Were those what kind of dog were they? LE dogs? Were they just
Okay, I was there during that point.
okay?
Kaylee wasn't there, and I went down. We got down there about 11 o'clock on May 5th, and my sister and I. And when we drove up to her dad's house, uh, Kaylee's brother and younger sister were there, and they ended up coming out. And I just want to tell them that we were there, and that we were going somewhere, maybe Cookville or somewhere. We was gonna get a room, and I would talk to them tomorrow. Well, we ended up going, my sister and I, and then those two called and said, "Can we come and stay with you in your room?" And I, sure, and so and I had told her brother we specifically came down there to go to the sheriff's department and talk to him. Well, that next morning he got up and he, I guess, called them. And he hadn't heard anything from them during this time, but he calls. He makes 2 or 3 phone calls, and finally somebody. We go out to breakfast, and somebody called him and said, actually, before that, their little sister got a text from their cousin that has lived there most of her life, saying that the sheriff's department, they needed to go get their dad, go get their dad, because the sheriff's department had been trying to get in touch with him and were unable to get in touch with him. Well,
Wow.
at that point, Aaron said, "Well, he's sleep." Oh, her brother said, "Well, he's sleeping. He's been sleeping, because he's that's just what he does." So anyway, we went and had breakfast and stuff, and they told us that they were going to come out, and so we left immediately and went back to Cookie Town Road and waited for them. And they came. A sheriff came out with somebody else. I don't remember the sheriff's name, but he said he was the sheriff of Overton County, and he had another guy with him, and he was just at this point talking to her brother, and we were all standing outside, and we kind of stood away because he was acting as if they didn't want us involved in the whole situation. But then I heard the sheriff say something about, um, so he mentions a name, which was Kaitlyn's boyfriend, and
Hmm.
said, so he's the supplier. And, I couldn't help it. I butted in. I said, did you just say supplier? He said, yes. And I said, what are you talking about? Like drug? Are you talking about like a drug supplier or what? And he said,
Yeah.
yes. I said, you know what? I don't know where in the hell you got your information, but you don't even know her. And whoever told you that is full of shit. I said, who told you that? Her dad? And he shook his head, yes. And I said, well, you know what? That might be a problem. He said, well, we all know, and he mentions his name. We all know that that's no secret around here about his name. Mentioned his name.
Yeah.
I just thought right then, like
Mhm.
something's way wrong here.
Yeah.
And then they go in and they have her brother wake him up, and he finally comes outside, and he doesn't really, he's wish-washy around everything they ask, and they stood out there with everybody out there, and asked him a few things, and as a matter of fact, I end up saying, because he got to the argument part, and I said, so, I couldn't help it because my sister was saying, don't butt in, but I couldn't help it because
Yeah.
they're asking something, and I said, so did you said she had the dog, she wouldn't give you the dog, and she wouldn't open the door, so you kicked the door in. Okay, so when you kicked the door in, at that point, did you guys get into altercation or? Oh, no, we didn't. I said, so she just jumped out
Oh.
the window? I
Oh.
don't understand that. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
front door's right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
So, you're trying to get the dog and she won't let you in. So you kick the door in and she texts us. She texts everybody and then she jumps out the window. It makes no sense to me.
yeah,
And her brother had also, after.
But really, technically, if you go off of his word, she jumps out the window and then 2 hours later texts
yeah,
everybody.
exactly.
Right. Yeah, exactly. When she only has Wi-Fi, she can only use.
And there,
Yeah.
you can't even get a connection out there. Like,
Well, but
you
you
know,
gonna
Yeah,
know, baby.
yeah.
I haven't even put a comment.
So, and Deb, my sister, was like, Tonda, we got to talk to them, when the sheriff's getting ready to leave and they're going up to the car. So, and I didn't want to say anything because of her brother and her sister, I mean, I was trying to keep my feelings inside and not say a lot. But we walked up because it was up a hill. We walked up there and my sister went up and told them, we really need to talk to you. There's some things maybe you need to know. Didn't have anything to do with us. And I also asked them before they'd done that, I said, so what about, can't you bring some dogs out here or something?
Yeah.
Now we're talking, this is already the 6th,
Phew.
May 6th or so. She's been missing this May 2nd.
And it was raining. Y'all said it was raining pretty good.
Yeah, so they even came out there to speak to anybody. So, yeah, and I guess they said it had been raining and stuff. And so I said, can't you bring some dogs or something? I mean, and he said, first he told me, he goes, this is our first rodeo. And I said, well, I'm sure it's not, but I'm just, it's,
That's
as
heartbreaking.
time goes on, it's going to be harder and harder. And
Yeah.
he said, well, dogs really aren't going to do any good right now. He said, it's rained out here. It's been raining and things. They're not going to be able to pick up any kind of scent. So anyway, I said something else again about the dogs, and he said, well, they would try to get somebody out here for a search the next day. Well, we were thinking, so that morning we go out, go get water and all that, so we're thinking, they're going to be out there. Nope, they didn't show up till that evening. And then there was two men that showed up with 2 dogs, and they took off and went out, went their way and all that, came back, and nothing came of that search. So the next morning when they did come out and they had, it was volunteers and things that they had, and another person came out and asked if we could go to Kaitlyn's room and find something that only she had. And at that point, I told the lady, I was like, why don't you go in there? You know what you're looking for. Why don't you go in there and you find something? Her sister went in with her. I said, you know what you're looking for. So this way we got it right this time.
Yeah.
And so they're the ones that came back and said that they did find, well, they didn't come back and say that. I take that back. The sheriff came back and said later on that night that actually I don't know if it was that night. So don't take my word. I don't know if it was that night or the next day when he came in and said that both dogs had followed a scent through the woods where her dad said she supposedly had went in the woods. Through the woods and came out on, it's a main road there. I don't know what it is. It's going to what do you say?
Highway 85.
Yeah, that was it. That's it.
Yeah.
So okay. So they had the dogs had followed it through the woods to cross that highway, and it was probably about a quarter mile down from Turkeytown Road. He said there was a gate, and that they found one footprint. One barefoot footprint. And so.
Did they take a picture of it?
No. They decided that she probably just decided to get in the car with somebody. And that's where they're going to leave it. Then they're going to call the search off. They're going to call the search off because she probably just went off on her own with somebody.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
That's exactly what they said. They said the dogs both of them went to that gate and walked around and wouldn't go any further, and they did find one barefoot footprint. But
they didn't take a picture of it or nothing.
Well,
they didn't have any proof.
They decided to call the search off because they said Kaitlyn voluntarily probably got in the car with somebody and left.
But everyone had searched, you know what I mean? And it could have been, if there was a
She would never do that in a million years.
No.
Ever. And that's what my sister and I was both saying from the beginning. Is like,
and the dogs conveniently
really
just hit on the direction he said that she
That's
went
what
in.
he said.
Yeah.
Now the first
That's
time, the first
crazy.
two did not. The evening before.
Yeah, everyone's stories
So
change so
it
much.
was like that Saturday they searched, and they did have a helicopter out. There was
Jen, I
sheriffs
believe she was very
staying at
terrified.
the store, a little store right around the corner off of. I guess it's on that Highway 85. From Turkey Town Road, there's a store, and we were going around trying to put out flyers, and that's what we did was doing the whole time was put
Yeah.
out flyers, and we'd see them sitting in their cars and stuff, and I was like, well, it doesn't look like a whole lot of searching because everybody's in their cars every time we drove by.
So where was her dad at this time?
He's sleeping.
Yeah. He slept on something I was
He's
there
sleeping
too.
because he's sleeping.
He's been out for
He
days.
never acknowledged my sister and I, and I've known, I've known him, God, for 30 years at least, for maybe 40. He didn't even acknowledge us the first few days we were there at all.
It wasn't like he was.
The
I
day
mean,
before we left, we went over there and sat because we thought they were gonna come searching, so we just sat in my van the whole time in the driveway. We sat in my van, and because I wanted to be there, and it was later on that night that I think it's when I don't know if it was when the sheriff. Oh well, let me go back a few. That first night they came out, the sheriff come to the house. They wanted her brother and sister to come to the police department or the sheriff's department to interview them. And Debbie kept saying, my sister kept saying, be sure to tell them we want to talk to them. So when they came back, they're pretty young, but I mean they're old enough to. Well, one of them's old enough to drink, not the other one. But
yeah.
anyway, they come back and they said they want you, Tom, to send that message. He said, here, uh, the name was Detective Mayer Sick, like Mayercick or something like
Mhm.
that, was a detective. He wants you and everybody else to send that text that Kaitlyn sent you to here. He gave me his personal phone number, and he wants you to send it to him, and he wants everybody else to. I was like, okay. And he said, but other than that, he doesn't want to talk to you because he said you guys weren't important. I said,
Yeah.
oh, he did. He said, yeah. And I was like, well, that's fine. Yeah, okay. So we're not important, even though she's been up here with us for the
Wow.
last 6 to 8. Yeah, how long was
She
she
didn't
at?
even want to leave whenever
She didn't want to leave.
he
But
came.
Why do you think she
He
didn't
started
want
out
to
of
go back?
nowhere. And he had done that before in the past when she,
yeah,
because he used to put his hands on her,
oh
her
yeah,
boyfriend.
she's been beat on.
Yeah, she got beat up a lot. The last time when she left him, he gave her a concussion. I don't know how,
Is
you
this
know,
the dad or the
the
boyfriend?
boyfriend.
The
But my dad also put his
boyfriend.
hands on her, but the boyfriend was really abusive and controlling. So when she decided to leave, she still talked to him and everything over the phone, but she
Yeah.
had a mindset she wasn't gonna go back. Even
Yeah.
when he was there, she
And
still couldn't.
anybody in a situation like that, I would
It was up
hope
until the
that
last
they could.
minute when she had to change her mind and go
Yeah.
because she had told me, she was going to find Reese and with me and
Because
stay
I'm
with
sure he
her.
was not. There was a nice period where he was sorry,
Yeah,
would do it, he wouldn't do it again, and all that same
that's how
area.
cycle is.
Yeah.
But she was starting to see. The last time they got in the fight, she called me crying afterwards, and she said how stupid she felt. She's like, I don't ever want to feel like this again. She's like, he's gonna end up killing me. He's gonna put his hands on me or hit me the wrong way.
Yeah.
And he was a big guy.
But she loved him and she
So
cared
can
about
I
him.
ask you this?
She
And you
acts like
don't have to.
it's not his fault.
Go ahead, what?
I'm sorry.
No, you go first.
No, I
I
said
was
she.
just wondering if you guys thought maybe he was a person of interest or
Yeah,
somebody that could be
absolutely.
like I, your dad is a very big person of
Yeah, I
interest.
think he's
Do you
the
think that
number
it was,
one.
do you think it was something that was they did together or
I yeah,
something of
I think that they
one
probably
did and other has knowledge of or
I think I'll have a part in it. I think my father probably is the person who actually
yeah.
whatever happened. He's probably the one who's done it. But I do believe that there were other people there. including his girlfriend. She never left. She never helped search him.
Now his girlfriend, coincidentally, a few months after, and I want to bring this up because I've seen a lot
Uh-huh.
of people mention that Kaitlyn was in the house fire, and that's not true.
No. This is
So
that
when
way
did the
after.
fire happen?
Fire happened in
August
August.
22nd or 23rd, something like that.
Yeah, and
And
how did I hear about it? My sister called me, my little sister, and told me that Dad's house was on fire. And I was like, "Is everybody okay?" Like, and she said, "No." She said, "The only person that made it out was Dad and um, his girlfriend, one of her dogs, the small one, and that's supposedly the one that started the fight or whatever. With Caitlyn was holding it in her room or got hurt it or something. I don't know, but
People never heard anything.
yeah." And so she told me that the girlfriend didn't make it, and then there was a lot of talk about the girlfriend even being like found in the basement. So
yeah,
several people,
We talked to
and several
mother.
people also said, yeah, her mother. Even I talked to her.
but so it's
And
never really confirmed on where she.
no one's even confirmed the cause of death or anything like from an actual,
Yeah.
investigator or anything. But her mother told me that the week before she had called the sheriff out because my dad was being so mean to her, his girlfriend, that he was making her locking her downstairs because there was a door at the very top of the stairs because the stairs went down.
Go in the house.
Yeah, to go up to the main floor. And there was also a door on, the floor of the basement where you could go outside. And he was locking her out of the one upstairs and making her go outside and use the bathroom. And
Does that sound something like your
yeah,
dad?
it does sound like that. Yeah, he's very abusive.
Yeah, 'cause
Mentally,
Caitlyn, when she was taking showers and stuff, he turned the damn water off. He just used too much water. He's just an asshole.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say that, but he knows I think that. So
Oh,
So you guys were both down there, and you were around him. Did you ever get the impression like his alertness?
Yeah. From the
his
kid, I know my dad knew that I knew something was up, and that's why he didn't want me down there. He knows that I'm
he
not
just didn't
stupid.
appear to have the need to go find her.
No, not at all. He slept, and he got mad when I woke him up to go to the police station to do the report.
So
Like,
what was his mental Jen had a quote. What was his mental state while you guys were down there? Or did he just sleep and you guys really didn't?
we were down there at separate times, but when I was there, he searched that one time that next day after I woke him up, and after that he slept, and he got up like right before I was getting ready to leave, and my brother was taking me back, and he's
That
being all
one
nice
time
to
you
me.
guys searched that
Yeah, no one wanted to help. My brother was even hanging out with friends when I was waiting, because I didn't want to go by myself. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's scary, and
and that
no one seemed to care. I wasn't understanding.
but he told us
he
straight up,
just
she's
didn't.
not in the woods. Don't go look. She's not in the woods.
Yeah,
Oh
Now, at that
really?
point in time, I was just thinking that, he had searched him or whatever, but I mean, he
Yeah.
said she's not in the
it's
woods.
hard to wrap
And,
your head around it.
You would think so.
it
You
is.
oh no,
Like I
yeah,
said,
I would thought that
I
too.
never went down with the intention of thinking anything that other than
Yeah.
it's something strange. But then when and then I realized that
Just the way you
I was
react.
telling you about the interview that her brother and sister had went to and came back and said that I need to send me a text message. Well, I didn't realize this, but her brother said, yeah, he wants you to send a text message. He goes, and he took a picture of the, and when daddy called me, he took a picture of it and wanted to know what was going on then. I said, oh yeah, I said, because I was trying to be, not, I was trying not to keep, I was trying to keep my mouth
One-sided.
shut
Yeah.
because I knew it was really upsetting them,
Yeah.
because I was more and more, I just couldn't understand why their dad wouldn't look, why their dad was sleeping,
Yeah.
why he wouldn't, talk to the police,
Where was the sense of
any of that.
urgency?
And I'm so, and I'm talking out loud, and I can see it's bothering them a lot.
Yeah.
So, I was trying to just keep my mouth shut. And so they went ahead and went down to the interview and things, and when they came back to the room, I was almost asleep when he told me that you need to send this text over to the detective Mayorsick, and he's like, and don't, he goes, Yeah, they took pictures of mine and everything when Daddy called me, and I said, when did Dad call you for? And he said, well, he called me and he was all upset. I said, him and Caitlyn got into an argument and she'd left and she wasn't coming back. And he said, I told Daddy, she'll be back, she'll be back. And he said, no, she's not going to be back.
Oh,
I
wow.
said
Well,
that from the beginning.
I said, so can I ask you what time that phone call was?
Yeah.
7:58 that same morning. I got my text at 7:54.
Oh.
It was Facebook message, actually.
Okay, was it
Do,
whatever? It was
do
4
Ellie
minutes
know
later.
all of this?
It was 4 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
So
And investigators know all of this?
yes, and that's what I'm
Just
saying.
wanted
But they lost everything when they called us and we went there November 16th. Kaylee and I, and
yeah.
the TBI supposedly flew up here with the other sheriff McCullough or Detective McCullough.
Yeah.
They have lost everything.
Yeah,
They
start
have
from
nothing.
scratch.
They start from scratch. They have not the phones, anything. We said nothing. They have nothing.
Yeah, because whenever I was down there,
They got lost.
I went in her room and I got her this bag with some flowers on it, and I in my heart I just felt like she was not coming back and she was gone.
Yeah.
I just took the bag and it had
And you gotta understand, her and Kaylee are really close.
Very
They're not
close.
even 2 years apart, so they've always been really close, almost kind of like twins.
Me and my sister are a year and 4 months, so I know.
Yeah.
Very
I
close.
mean, they you know, it's hard.
So I took the bag and just to have something of hers. And I told my dad, don't nobody go in the room, and the bag that I took, it had like a couple old phones in it, like ones you can't even access, like they're like ones with the
Yeah.
buttons, they don't even flip open or nothing. They wouldn't even turn on. And so I tried to turn them on. And that was the big old thing that, I had her phone and, this and that, and none of that was true. I gave everything back. It was nothing important.
Because the Overton County Sheriff's Department didn't try to reach out to anybody except for her youngest sister, which
It
is
was very odd.
19.
Yeah. She's very sheltered. She's
Yeah,
not.
and but they
Yeah.
didn't reach out to anybody else. And anything that Kaylee had tried to tell them, they told her and their dad.
Yeah, everything I would say,
So who were they talking to?
They told when they was talking, they called Kaylee and interviewed her of what she thought, and
my dad knew
they went
everything.
straight there and called her sister and told her sister what she said and her dad.
My dad told me, he called me and said,
Yeah, I can't believe
he
you.
should disown me for thinking he did it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, I got paperwork, bitch, and he hung up on me. And that's the last time I actually spoke to my dad. That was in November.
Lay right there on the floor.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I thought. Oh,
Hey, some of the people are wanting to know why the boyfriend's mom was trying to, I guess, interject herself into the situation.
I have no idea. I really don't.
yeah. That was a big one question.
Caitlyn didn't really know her very well.
No, she didn't.
Well, I didn't know who she was, and I was just like,
I
"Who is
didn't
this
know she
lady?"
was.
And everybody's like, "Oh, that's who it was," and I was like, "Oh, well, that's why she's."
They were, and her and her boyfriend were together almost 10 years, and I know Caitlyn, here and there.
Caitlin's boyfriend was raised by his grandparents, and the only way that Kaitlyn, from what I understand, her telling me, was she had called and was going to get her boyfriend a job, and he, of course, said, why don't Kaitlyn take it? Can Kaitlyn have it? So Kaitlyn went to work, and she worked there, and they worked together. And Kaitlyn only worked there a few months that I'm aware of, maybe 2 or 3 months. And that's the only. I mean, I'm sure maybe they had met before.
They went on vacation one time,
but they weren't.
That's
They didn't really know each other, really.
not like
really,
that. Caitlyn
no.
didn't care for her too much because the way she treated the boyfriend, her son.
See, and that's the way I couldn't understand.
Yeah, I have no idea. And when I've called and talked to her a few times, and
Have the investigators talked to her?
I'm sure.
Oh, I don't know who they talked to. I mean, I'm
They're not very helpful.
sure now. I'm kind of doubting who we spoke with, who
Right,
couldn't hear,
I bet.
because we've not heard a thing from him, and Kaylee's tried to call him,
multiple
and
times.
we don't hear. They don't even call back.
Lord
So
have mercy. Sounds like a repeat.
Yeah,
it is. It's well, my sister and I that very first day, because even though I don't know, and like I said,
we had no idea. What
their dad has been in our family for a long time. There's been a lot of issues. But I had noticed when 'cause he just comes stumbling out the door. He didn't have a shirt on because he'd been sleeping, and they didn't like take him into another room. They didn't do anything. They stood out there on the porch, and I kind of walked back kind of by him, and because like I said, he hadn't even acknowledged us being there, and I noticed that he had some scratch. Now if he'd been searching in the woods, he could have scratches. I don't know, but I noticed, and I'm telling my sister, I'm like, that he has some scratches on him. So when they left and they went up the hill, the sheriff and that other guy, that's when we walked up there and told him we was going to the store, but walked up there and told him, we'd like to talk to him again and mentioned some things. Why wouldn't they check that stuff out? You know, they were supposedly in an
Yeah.
argument, and that's what I said. So Caitlyn wouldn't give you the dog.
we don't
So
even
you
know if she
pounded
came
on,
up missing.
so you
on the,
pounded on the
second.
door, and then you kicked the door in. Well, he said he pushed it in.
Well, he's
The door in because that's what he told his son. That's what he told me. He kicked the door in, and so Caitlyn just says, "Oh, here's the dog," and jumps out a window, 7 to 10 feet, fucking drop. I mean, come on. I can't help it. I can't. I
but
can't
he's
wrap
had
that
how many
around.
stories too?
Yeah,
He's
the
told
story
multiple
it constantly
people
changes.
different
Yeah.
things
He's even
openly.
called me. Actually, his girlfriend. She was talking to me more and more, and I think that's why the fire happened because she kept telling me more and more each time I talked to her, and she only talked to me when my dad was at work. Well, she
Well,
called
I
me.
imagine she could have been somewhat of afraid of
She
him
was
too.
scared. She was petrified,
Mhm.
and I kept asking her, "Why are you so scared of him?" Like he hits me in the back. Like I ain't scared of him. She would never say, but she definitely was very frightened by him, and like I said, she's telling me more and more stuff, and I think she kept saying she thought my dad was, like booby trapping the door, and like 'cause he kept on putting boxes of Caitlyn stuff little by little.
Oh yeah, taking her stuff out and burning it.
Yeah, and she called me and be like, there's this that you gave her or made her, do you want me to send it to you? Or it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably missing a whole bunch of stuff that's happening in between there, but
No, that's okay. That's why I set it up the way I do. So,
uh-huh.
because it's a lot when I go by myself. I feel like I have to blurt everything out at once. I
It
can
is
only
a lot.
imagine
It's a
for
lot
you
though. The
guys.
way we hear
Yeah.
it, we never really heard a, a straight story.
Well, I've never
You
heard
know,
your
so
guys'
maybe
voice. So, like when I started digging around about Caitlyn, I'm like, so where the heck are where's her
Yeah, I
family?
know. Bad.
So by all means, I have not seen you guys ever get a chance to talk, and you guys are
well,
always welcome back.
but it
That's
hadn't
why I
been
set up
for
my page the way I
if it
do,
hadn't
and
been for the
my
Aaron Shane Keys thing, this would have never happened
Yeah,
because we
that's
didn't know
what.
what to do. We were lost. We didn't know what to do.
It's
I
still
mean,
a
you
scary
can't.
thing. Like
You don't know where to go. You don't know where to start. You don't know. The first time that her and her brother went down, they put out flyers, and then somebody come behind them and
right
took them
behind
all
us,
down.
looking down. Yeah,
So it's you can't
people
even
were
put out
yelling at
flyers.
us, telling us to get off the property. Like we wouldn't even be on the property. We'd be at a telephone pole, and it was a lot. And the grandma, the boyfriend's grandma, had my brother take me by there, and she came outside. She's real old, and she was real nice, and she's like, I met her maybe twice before that, but Caitlyn spent a lot of time there, and she was genuinely concerned about Caitlyn. She said she's the one that actually put in the report, and I'm like, I thought my dad did, and she's like, no, he didn't. She's like, I'm the one that called and made the report, and she said you better be checking the boyfriend's brother. And I'm like, why would you say that? And she's like, well, he didn't care for her at all, and he probably has, walked away somewhere. And when we left, I was telling my brother, let's go by there, 'cause I never met the guy, and he wasn't home, and my brother's telling me like that's not what she said, and I'm like, those are her exact words. It's just a lot when you're just one person, and everyone's against you,
yeah.
like making you sound crazy.
So now I want to ask something, and you could say
Kaitlyn's
that
okay too.
if you don't want to answer it.
Okay.
You guys received a phone call, and I don't want you to go into too many details, but you received kind of an alarming phone call from somebody, didn't you? About maybe possible they were in fear that maybe somebody was getting ready to move Kaitlyn.
Yeah. Actually, they had wrote me on Facebook and told asked if, I kind of talked to them, and I'm not gonna say who or anything right now, but
No, absolutely
yeah,
not.
I ended up calling and they because it's I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like it's feeling like she's like telling me, you have to come down here, and look more, because I'm not gonna be in the same spot. And I had to call my aunt crying and told her that, and then
Yeah,
right
we
after
gotta get
that,
there. We
not
gotta get
even 2
there.
minutes later, the person wrote me and then when I had to call them, he had said almost the exact same thing that what I mean, to tell my aunt. And it was crazy. Like,
Yeah, exact same thing that she told me.
and I'm like, well, who's gonna move her? And he's like, I don't know, your dad and somebody else. And I'm like, so you know that my dad's involved? And he's like, I'm not saying he is, and it's a blame game. My dad says, it's her boyfriend is my dad. Like,
Now, when we were talking privately,
mm-hmm.
you were, when we were going over everything, and again, no names, nothing like that. I am very, very, big on trying not to name any names. But when you were talking to me, and I just want to make it aware that, Kaylee was giving me a run through, and I was sitting here listening, just kind of like we are right now. And she was kind of talking about a few people that were, in this group of information that she was getting. And another connection I wanted to make with Aaron Shane Key, other than the fact that this both happened to them on Turkey Town Road, is during this process, Kaylee kind of made a connection to the same old family down the road that she didn't even know that she was making a connection to. And my jaw dropped because she has no idea who these people are. So she kind of named the family involved over at the where Shane or Aaron Shane Key was said to have hung himself. So
And that name was mentioned right off the bat because I went back and looked at my screenshots, some messages and stuff. And it was mentioned, I didn't even pay, really any mind because I had never heard the name.
yeah,
And, the
I could
people were
tell.
saying so much stuff, like I didn't even pay it no mind. And it came up again. And that's whenever I gave it a second look, and then I found out about, the case with Aaron and it all kind of
Yeah.
come together. Like, something's not right.
So it's crazy, and I know it was a relative, it's the same street. I'm sure people know that street or aware of each other and whatnot, but you
I
are.
didn't know
So
where
it's
I've
interesting to
stayed
hear
down there
that.
multiple times, and the street is very, very, very long. And there's not like next door neighbors, like
No, yeah.
They used to.
yeah,
Anyway.
yeah. And I didn't even know that my dad. He acted like he didn't even know people behind him. So I had no idea that it was such a tight little street or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a community.
Yeah, that shocked me. I stayed down there my whole custody.
Somebody else asked a question if the boyfriend's family's mom might be relative to the sheriff of Overton County.
I have heard that they do have kin in the somewhere higher up. I'm not sure where or who, but
We don't know much about them.
yeah, I never even spoke to her or even knew her name.
Oh, really?
Still,
Wow.
yeah,
I didn't
never.
know that.
Until this happened. Yeah, it's the first time I ever spoke to her or even knew her name. So I mean, that's why I'm saying
It's just so interesting to know who she is, as she was the Kaitlyn Army.
Yeah, she seems like she's like with no Kaitlyn, like real well, and that's.
But I noticed every
That's
time
the
that
first I got from Kaitlyn at all.
would message, people would be kind of hesitant to speak, and I
Yeah.
noticed.
Well, at first I was just thinking she was advocating because it's her son's girlfriend. But
I think she's.
I
If
kinda
that's
noticed
the
it too.
case,
I
if you guys are
who is
Kaitlyn's
this
family,
person? Who is this? You know?
Yeah, and anybody I've reached out to, like, outside the case or anything, like, different people try to get involved in his search or anyone, like, a lot of them, like, we already talked to Terry, and I'm like, and they just, like, that's it. They don't say nothing else, and they don't want to hear me out. So, she already got there before I did, and I don't know what she said or, how she made it out to look. I don't know, but
It's small, isn't it? Why I'm not seeing these comments? Sorry, you guys. You guys aren't seeing. You're not seeing the comments.
no.
I did not.
No,
See,
we're not seeing anything like that.
I thought it was. See, Lisa said that the other day, and I went in and I unclicked it and then clicked it again because it says that it's clicked on here. Allow you guys. It says allow you guys to be able to see the comments, and I always have it on allow.
Yeah, we can't see him. It says private chat. It's like a few things.
Because I really suck at popping the comments up, and so I was like, "Hey, pop the comments up when you want them," and they can't see them.
Yeah, the last thing the only thing we can see is up till it says sounds so much like Aaron and Jen.
Let me see here. Ah! I found out what I was doing. Okay, can you see the comments now? Oh, no.
Yeah, now we see him.
You can?
Yeah,
Oh, see, when I went into the individual, I had to go into the general big settings, not the individual window settings.
Okay, yeah, now I see him.
Okay, everybody can see him. Awesome. That's so great. Okay, I figured it out. Okay, yeah. So just to recap for people that are, hopping on, Kaitlyn was said by her dad to be last seen leaving the residence after an argument at 5:30.
5:30.
But, and that's what he reported it at, he was telling everybody, but a text message that did not sound like Kaitlyn, but everybody that's seen it, and he sent it around to a few people, said that that's not Kaitlyn, that wasn't messaging.
Yeah.
And this was before you guys knew she was missing.
Right.
Yeah.
7:54, and her brother receives a call from.
And no one even tells us until way later that day.
7:58.
So, and then your dad's just strange. I mean, from what I see, your dad is a strange one as it is.
Yes, very much.
But then you get down there, which you guys are like, you said, what, 200 to 300 some miles away?
Yeah.
So when you guys get down there, you just, he's just acting even stranger.
Yeah.
And there's no sense of urgency to go out and find Kaitlyn.
No, it's like he already knew that, there's no reason to go look.
Even
yeah.
Mentioned to you about.
He's made some pretty damn darn.
And there's a lot of stuff on Kaylee has that, like you notice how we took us a while for this Facebook and all this stuff because on but she's got a lot of stuff that is recorded.
Yeah, you've sent me. I've heard. And so has yeah.
It's not like just.
No, he is a very scary man. Just listening to him.
Yeah.
Where is your dad now?
He is. I believe he's still in jail. So he came up here. Because I kept in contact with him up until about November.
Okay.
Only because the way I was approaching him wasn't working. Because
right.
so I was like, I might as well just be nice and see where that gets me. And it took everything in me to just conversate with him.
Absolutely.
And so he kept saying he wanted to see my son and asked him about him, and he never has the whole time he's been alive. And he's like, I'll come see him. And he came up here, and then I didn't see him. He tried to call me 2 times, and I just avoided him. Well, he had come back, I guess, right around Christmas time, and didn't tell anyone he was coming. And I didn't see him then either. But on his way back, I guess as soon as he got into that county, Tennessee, they pulled him over and took him in on a violation of probation, which he's not on probation.
Yeah.
He was on probation since like 2018. So I don't know what that's about. Every time I call or ask, they're clueless.
Well, it's definitely not on anything related to Kaitlyn.
Yeah, I
I just
know.
want to throw that out there for everybody. He's not
Yeah.
currently locked up for anything to do with Kaitlyn that we know of. I mean, he wasn't brought in on charge, anything for
Hi, little boy.
They wouldn't even tell me what,
That's Caitlyn's boy right there.
what the violation
That's a
was.
lucky man.
yeah.
But yeah, so
Sorry, I
it
was
was
just making
very
sure.
helpful. That county.
I seen Lisa popped on here. I was just making sure she didn't want to say anything. I know. I invite you guys back. We could break this down and go over things um, I always tell everybody if you think that you get off here and you're like, I didn't say this enough, or we forgot about this. Just Lisa always hollers at me and says, hey, you want to go on? And we pick a time and we go.
Yeah, because I think next time it'd be a lot easier because it's kind of a.
Now that you first
You
get
get a little
that's how
nervous
I
at
feel.
first.
When I do
And we
mine,
could get a huge help too, by the way.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't. I hate
Yeah,
to say
I
it, but
admire
it'd
her.
be very hard for me to speak up.
yeah,
But yeah, she's
very
awesome.
much.
They've only got one voice.
Yeah.
That's right. You're right.
And that's what I say. If we're not going to listen to anybody, who the better to listen to than the family in
Right.
cases like this?
And she's worth it.
She, anybody that knows Caitlyn, it's just, and I know everybody.
She seems like she was a wonderful person.
She was. She was.
She just seems like that one person that you walk in that room and she's got that smile
Yeah,
bubble about her, and
She wouldn't care who you are. I mean, you could be the Pope, you could be, some drug addict on the street. She'd be the
yeah,
same. She'd never judge you, or she's just really a sweet.
and that's just
sweet
I
person.
believe strongly that those
Like I
people
said, it
are
just
the ones
kills me
that get
thinking
taken
what
advantage of.
what's happened to her, what she went through. I mean, it's almost too much to bear, to think about it, because it wasn't good. Her dad's girlfriend told when we were there, told me, told my sister and I, that's when the story changed again. That because she said something about, she goes, no, she took off running down the street and she was looking. I said, so is it? How'd you guys see her? If it's that dark, I mean, it's 5:30 in the morning. It's dark. How'd you see her? She goes, oh no, it wasn't 5:30. It was more like I said. She goes, it was the light out. I said, what, like daybreak? She goes, oh no, it was probably like at 9 or 9:30. And she said she was running down the road and she showed us how she's jogging down the road and looking behind her, scared to death like somebody's chasing her.
Yeah.
And so that was another story I heard, there at that house. So you don't know what to believe. We don't even know if she's made it
And
there.
I want to point this out
Well,
too, before I forget it. The boyfriend, the whole time I was down there, which was the first 3 or 4 days of her missing, he was also not, in urgency, or he wasn't even looking. Like they all were saying, she'll be back. She just went with somebody. I'm like, she does not know anyone.
So the boyfriend didn't report her missing.
No, I honestly I don't know who did. Like I said, my dad.
He did.
Yeah, I said he did. The grandma said she did. My dad wouldn't let me go down there. Like I didn't have a vehicle, or I would have went myself.
He wouldn't even let her go down there. He dropped her off somewhere. He was going to take her
From
home.
my knowledge, and from what in the comment I've seen, why is the boyfriend's mom saying the boyfriend reported?
Yeah, I see that. I had actually when the fire happened, I seen something. Well, I didn't see. My friend had pointed out because I was blocked on his page, but I had seen that he was saying that my sister was in the fire and everything, and the girlfriend, my dad, and my dad and my sister had made it out, but the girlfriend didn't. So when I seen that, I called his mother and I asked her, like, what's going on? Why is he saying this stuff on Facebook? And she pretty much said he's just having a rough time and he's kind of losing his mind a little bit. That's all. Like, it was no big deal.
I see.
She's like, just pay no mind.
It's not a big deal. Well, it is when it's your niece or your sister or
Yeah.
it's a very big deal.
Yeah. It makes everything more strange.
Oh,
Yeah, I really did
I mean, it's the whole
It's
Tennessee.
almost too strange to be true, but then again, she's gone and something's happened to her, and it's not anything she did on her own free will.
Even if she would have left with somebody, what if she have gotten a hold of you guys?
Oh my
Absolutely,
God,
I'd be the
yes.
first person she would have got a hold of.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
She wouldn't have, as soon as even if she did fear for her life when she left, like as soon as she got safe,
Yes.
she would have found.
Even if she wasn't safe, she would have found a way to get a hold of me.
She's like I said, she's a sweet, a soft-spoken girl, but she's also a fighter.
Yeah,
And she would fight. She'd fight for what was right, and if it was physical fight, she would do that. She wasn't going to put up with anybody talking about her family, anything that wasn't right. She wasn't going to do that. She wasn't, and if she would fight, if she had to fight, she'd fight.
She'd speak up. That's the only time you ever hear her speak up. Is if there's something,
Yeah, she'd sit there all night. I remember, this is just a little story, but my mother died, which is her grandmother, in April of 2020. And it was real cold where we're at. It was real cold, and we had a fire. And Kaylee decided to buy a car off of her brother's ex-girlfriend or whatever. So her father drove it up and drove it up to my parents' house. And we was all sitting out there and had a fire. And, we had a little bit to drink, not much, but had a little bit to drink. And the whole time Kaitlyn would sit there and messing on her phone and doesn't say a whole lot. And, as the night went on and Dad kept on and on, he said something about Kaylee tearing up his stuff. And she just kind of raised her hand and said, well, Dad, if you weren't such a dick, she probably wouldn't do that. I mean, she just really kind of laid back, well, Dad, you're just a dick. She's just funny and cute and just, nothing major, nothing, to yell at, but.
Man. Yeah. So, do you guys have any, like, and I just asked because, with somebody else kind of having the reins, I haven't seen anything. You guys have any efforts you charge or like for a private investigator?
Yeah. I actually hired a private investigator like as soon as I got back from the first visit. I went down there and she helped me out a lot. She was in Tennessee too, not the same part, but she pointed out right from the beginning that something wasn't right with the whole community and the police. And she's like, you wouldn't be surprised how often this happens, and she was a big help. But I mean, they all treat her like crap. Anytime she tried to talk to anybody, they would refuse, call her a fake cop. And so she really did try to help, and she was a big help.
That's awesome.
But
I feel at this point you're just gonna and I was gonna tell everybody,
every time I tell other people too, it's hard to get anyone to respond,
Yeah. We're trying right now. I would love to have one person come in and represent all the cases. That would love to be a part of the Tennessee cases. I have an ongoing open PayPal to make a donate. I mean, it all goes to any family I run on this page. They need so much. I mean, you go and you hear even, if you don't have a private investigator, that stuff's a lot of money. Some families can't even think about
Right. Yeah, it is.
I've looked it up. It's like 5,000 or 500 to $1,000 an hour.
And how does this work? Can like I invite friends? Because I got a lot of friends that I'd like to invite that would be interested in your thing, but I
Yeah.
don't know if I can invite them to
You
see.
should share it.
I just said,
Okay.
all right. She's gonna show me, I guess. She knows I don't know much about this stuff, so
I'm learning. Jen is helping me with that a
oh,
lot
I'm terrible.
of stuff.
Oh, that's okay. It's a balance.
Yeah, it is. Because woo.
I'm back on here because I can't see the chats on my end, but I think it's because I'm on my phone. What's that?
See, Kaylee and her Tonda can hear it. Yeah, they could see the comments now.
Well,
I think it's my
stopped
phone.
again, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
stopped again. So
See, I know it. I knew somewhere in there it had to be me a little bit though. That's how bad I am. But no, we have this. We were trying to do a fundraiser and we couldn't get the event to work, so we just pretty much said screw it, and I'm gonna take that link and make a continual. We're gonna have it open for a while and see how it goes, and I hope that we can make some donations and help people out and start getting the balls. Like Aaron, Lisa's mom wants to get his body exhumed, and she has evidence that needs to be tested, and we just need. What they really want to do is have one person come in and represent a few cases.
yeah, I just couldn't believe that there's, this happened more than once.
The whole
Yeah,
unraveling.
Oh,
street.
mm.
It blew my mind.
Yeah,
It-
I
It
talked
shocked me.
check out the other unraveling Tennessee episodes because Tennessee is wilding out. And when I say it, it's not.
Yeah, I've been down there a lot of times, and it just seems quiet to me. But I mean, I guess I wasn't in the loop, so.
And it's hard. I think a lot of people are scared to talk, and the more
Yeah.
there are support in numbers. Heck, I'm happy to
Well,
have.
I think she knew more.
Even it's kind of like, oh,
I think she
gotta
knew
watch what you say.
stuff she shouldn't have known, and that's probably
Yeah, that's what I think too. Because she had told me one time about there are a few other things that I didn't mention and I won't right now. But she told me she had went to her dad and told him if I find out, I'm going to go to the cops. And she said he looked at her. She said I've never seen her look like that. And his eyes turned black, and he said, "I am the motherfucking cop, bitch." So, for her to sit and tell me that, and she cried telling me that.
Yeah.
That's so intimidating.
It's I mean, for one, what father talks to their daughter that way?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of pretty intense,
It's pretty scary.
It's very scary.
It is very scary.
Yeah, very scary.
Especially she's gone, and I told her.
Yeah, no one on her side.
She sat here at my house. I have a sectional couch, and we sit here and we talked, and I told her like, I believe you. I don't think. She's like, people don't think I'm crazy. I said, no, I believe you, Kaitlyn. And I told her, I said, just whatever you do, promise me you won't go back down there because something's going to happen. Never, ever dreaming this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Never dreamt this. I just thought maybe that,
Yeah. What family member or parent ever does?
And never did I think that. And I just keep coming back to me, We tell her not
And a lot of my family, like, especially the ones, we have family down there on my dad's side, none of them's reached out, none of them helped search. And then the ones that, where we're at, they just, I don't know. It's just hard because no one wants to side with you. They see it too, but, they just don't want to speak up or, point it out. And so
they need to brush it under the rug because they don't want to deal with the bigger issue.
And I'm not going to do that. I'm not.
Yeah, and I understand, but the problem with that is that if nobody stands up,
exactly,
the issue just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you guys standing up, you don't even realize, you're going to have pushback, but think about what you're going to do.
But we got you.
Yeah, and we're all doing it together, Yeah.
I know you were very nervous. I know both of you were, but you guys have so much support.
I know. Yeah. I appreciate it too. It's been a lot. I couldn't have done it without.
Yeah, you
you
really
We
guys.
need to be able to talk about this. I mean, how horrible
I
not
feel
to be
like
able
you
to
guys
talk
were
about it.
silenced a little bit, and you just need that. And you
Yeah,
have
you
so
just
many
feel so alone
factors
because
for
nobody knows
you.
what to say to start with, and then with it being so close to home and everything, it's just
It's just a lot to wrap your head
everybody
around.
know it.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I don't even talk about
But
it
all I can
because
think
it's
of is
crazy.
Caitlyn. How scared she must have been, and thinking, how can they be doing this to me? I mean, it almost makes me, I can't even think about it already because it makes me, well, I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't eat for months.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I would.
like 45, 50 pounds.
Yeah.
I am so sorry.
And it's hard. It's hard.
I
And I
know.
was thinking about what if she is out there, she's not out there
Absolutely.
by her own will, so
Yeah.
that's bad too.
And that's important. Like,
The
like
not
she
knowing.
isn't
It's just
there.
the not
It's
knowing.
awful. It's awful.
She's
Like my
not
dad
out there
says,
because she wants to be out
usually
there.
time makes things a little easier, but not in this case.
Yeah. Well, you got us now. We're gonna stand by you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
guys
much.
so much.
I know
No,
I've
you.
known you guys forever, and I don't even hardly talk to anybody, but you don't know how it makes me feel that I feel that
It is
Somebody
I'm
cares.
supported.
helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what we need more of in this world, and that's why this world is getting so out of control because
Yeah.
people are not doing this for each other, and that's not why I'm doing it. Just because that's who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we all need to. I mean,
I hope
fear is what holds us all back. That is like the worst thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's fear.
If I were ever in your guys' shoe, I would want somebody to just do it for me.
That's why I said she do it for
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that's I have to do it. Like
She's been tearing down buildings.
she would have.
Yeah, and she seems like she would have done it for anybody too.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
very much like Aaron. Like I see such a similarity between her and Aaron's personality.
Yeah.
they actually knew each other.
She's a good person. She's
Yeah, that's right. They did know each other.
What? I did not know that.
Oh, did you guys know that? Did you know that?
I didn't know that until recently.
I didn't know that till just now.
Yeah, I've known that for a while, and it made sense to me because they're very much the same. They care about people, and these are good people. Everybody, these are like.
It don't matter where they
These
come
are.
from, what they're doing.
It doesn't matter, but it's just like it just boggles my mind sometimes that
they get caught.
It's not being dealt with because these are people. These could be our children. These could be our parents.
We're the last people in the world you think that this would have happened.
No, nobody expects this to happen to them.
Sure don't.
Not to go back that something's going to happen. Never in a million years would I thought this.
No. And then you're left by yourself. Like, I can't even imagine that happening to me.
No help. No nothing.
It's like,
police, that's what's scary,
Yeah, that's why it's not going to happen to you because I'm not going to let it.
It's just even scarier to know that the Ellie and the investigator, they know all of it.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
That is. Ooh.
It's very spooky.
Yeah, it is. This is America. America should be ashamed.
This shouldn't even be happening in this year. Like,
no, this is like something like in, I don't know what year, honestly, but a long time ago, maybe. But now, like, how it just doesn't make sense that they can even get away with it. And, we can all stand together. We are stronger than they make us think we are.
Absolutely.
That's why
I can guarantee that.
They may be able to shut you up, but they're not going to be, and maybe even two people.
Yeah, but once we become big, they can't shut us all up. They won't know what to do.
No.
Nope.
One.
And there are good ones. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to say this against. I just want to say publicly, I know very, very good, people in all departments.
Right.
So I'm not speaking on everybody, but we're talking about a specific area. So please don't misunderstand me.
I know very good officers that they make it their, life that they
Oh, yeah. And they get stuck in this too.
It comes home with them. And
well, they're victims of this too.
Yeah.
Remember, we've looked into reports of that also. Like the ones that are good are also missing or being mysteriously murdered. And I'm not saying that I know exactly what happened to them, but I'm saying it is very suspicious.
Right.
To me.
Yeah. Not just one person thinking that something's a problem here or a miss. That's why I said that.
Well, people are starting to make connections. They're not even sure that they don't even know.
My sister and I both knew it was like something isn't right here. Something's not right. My sister
and
I was like, how can they be in on it?
That's easy. But we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
No.
Nope. Because I mean, if we're a citizen just getting into this part this fast, no way.
I told Lisa when I said, Lisa, this is going to become more not so much of proving that Aaron didn't do this to himself, but the people behind it are corrupt.
Oh, yeah.
Where it goes, and this is why these cases need a second look.
Yeah. Well,
and also
behind it, we got to pull all of them together and show that it's the people behind these cases.
Well, you got to understand, in small town places, it's the go along to get along. If you can't go along with what's already existed when you get there, then you aren't going to be there long. I know some good officers in Overton County.
I know.
I don't know what,
I get it. I come from a very small-minded town. I grew up they're very small-minded.
Overton County lost, they didn't lose it. He used to be an officer for him, Nick Carter. He passed away, and he worked Overton, Jackson, Clay County, and him and his brother, they were tough. But they would cut a break where one was due, but you didn't want to push the boys. I mean, because they do their job. And, officers like that, I got the most respect for.
Yeah, they do their job with integrity. They do their job. They care about the people, and they're doing their job. They're not being disrespectful. And
we need those ones to see these cases and be like, I can do something.
Yeah.
Well,
from the outside of Tennessee that are seeing these and saying, oh, I want to hear about a few of these cases and come dig their nose in and rabbit hole down them. And
yeah, but when they get in, they don't realize that it keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper because more and more and more is coming out. There's cases 22, 30 years old already.
Yeah. Joseph Parker and his friends, theirs is back in, I didn't know it was that old, 2001.
Yeah.
It goes further.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's people that's talking that's never talked before. And that's what it's going to take in order to.
This type of thing right here is making it easier and more. Not so scared. And
you're giving the next person in line the courage to stand up and tell their story and to ask their question.
Yeah. And I promise if I mess it up, I will redo it. In reference to the first Courtney Cash.
Well, Kaylee's been telling me about it, and I was right. I don't know, man. Maybe we shouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah, but don't you feel better now?
Yes.
I was kind of scared,
I just can't wind up that.
That's where they've got us, where they've got everybody where everybody's got fear. Work through your fear and move on.
That's no place to go but up. I mean, that's like the Taliban. They all put fear in you. Fear that
exactly
stops people from doing anything.
Yes. The best way to conquer anybody is through fear. Division and fear.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, we all stick together.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. But ladies, I'm getting off.
Yeah,
I'm glad you two ladies done this.
Yes.
I know you feel better, and you guys are Caitlyn's voice in the end. Nobody else's voice counts, but Caitlyn's family.
Amen.
And you know what? Her little dog, I brought her dog home with me, and And we're doing this in a separate room other than the living room where he's usually out with us.
And he came right in here.
And he came.
Oh.
He came in here and he sat up on the arm of the chair.
He knew it.
Like he knew.
They know. They
They
know.
do.
They know.
Let me, can I share something with you guys? This evening, when I was waiting for Chasing Justice to come on, the front, the mural is sort of had Aaron in a sort of faded picture of Aaron on it. Well, his little dog was on the bed. I went over there and I tapped on the screen. I said, "Looky there." I said, "There's your daddy." He'd come over and he jumped up on the front of the TV, on the stand on the TV. He run and got his toy and then come back and reared up and was shaking his toy. And then I guess he went over and laid on the end of the bed and just sat there and looked at that photo till it come on. So they know.
They
know.
They're smart. They know.
Yeah. But proud of you ladies. Proud of all of you. And I'm going to get off. I'll holler at you, Kay.
Okay.
Tonda.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Bye.
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 Okay, who is all? I can't see.
I'm still here, Kaylee. Tonda.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure you're on here because I just, I knew you were really, really nervous.
Yeah.
And I hope that you feel a lot better.
Yeah, I do feel a lot better actually.
And I hope that, like I said, our door is always open now. You're part of us now. You're part of the family.
More comfortable.
Yeah, it's a lot easier with everyone.
It's nerve-wracking. Like I said, even me speaking by myself, like I messed up the Courtney Cash's first one. People told me, and I went back and watched it, and it's just like you feel like you have to get it all out in that first video.
It's hard, yeah.
Yeah, so I invite you back. If you hop off of here and you're like, "Oh, I didn't mention this," write it down, and we'll make it the first thing we talk about next time.
Right, there is so much that that I know I'm going to go back and think, "Oh yeah, why didn't I say this? Why didn't I tell this part?"
Yes.
I tried to prepare for this, but I knew it was going to come out the way it's going to come out.
If you look at the
flow like it does the first time.
If you look at the episodes, how I have it set up, throughout, I'll do, episode of Unraveling Tennessee 5A, B, C. I said, we'll go through the whole alphabet.
Yeah, because you start remembering stuff after
Yeah, very much.
Talk about it. And
I'm going through my own things, and that happened 12 years ago. And, I did a run through, I gave a statement, and then I had to email them saying, "Oh, I forgot this." And they're like, we know, because it happens over time. You get it out, and then you start to remember things that you didn't think you remembered or you forgot. And so.
Just like when they came down here and interviewed me and Tonda, like, it was just like we were on the spot. Like, they had me in there for hours. I was a mess. Like, I was so depressed. I slept for 2 days afterwards because I couldn't. My head was just like pounding so much.
We were afraid to start with because, like, how do we know that's really who they are? I mean, at this point, we didn't know that's really who they say they are or what. So we're both scared to even go, but we did.
Yeah. And it was 8 months later when
they had poor Kaylee in there forever.
That's just terrible. And then not to take you guys see. I mean, from what you've told me, they didn't.
Yeah,
so the last people that they should have done that to.
Exactly, or wait this long,
Now, I just have one more question. Were they were from your dad and what he said, and they said, were they in communication? Your dad and the Heli and the investigators?
My dad, I guess he told me like they come to the door and he had COVID, or he always make excuse up, but he knew everything that I would say because he would keep coming, He always had to bring it up, I know you said this or you said that, so they had to be in contact.
And I can imagine this is your dad, and he wasn't the greatest person, but it still would take a lot to think that way of your dad. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, it is, but
it's I mean, it's pretty hard to
Mm.
ignore once you talk about it. Don't you?
Yeah, it is. It's hard to ignore when you know your dad. You know, good enough that when the way he's reacting and things he says, you know, just don't add up.
So can I ask a question real quick? So your dad didn't ever act. There was no like looking back. Is there any signs like red flags that you now notice, or is it like totally taking you off guard?
No, there was a bunch of red flags. Yeah, from the first phone call. You know, just
No, I mean before this, like she even went
oh,
missing.
I mean, yeah, but not to where like I think this would happen. You know,
Yeah.
never thought something like this happened. But yeah, he's just a weird person. You know,
So
I
do you
don't
think
know
it
what
was
else
more
to
like
say.
an accident and he
That's why
like
I
nothing
truly
he didn't
believe.
intentionally do?
Yeah, I believe it was an accident. I feel like they got in an argument and then he, you know, maybe pushed it
Yeah.
too hard or something and got scared. You
Yeah.
know, and people on the don't think right. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so I did you guys have a close relationship? You and your father? I'm
No,
sorry, but
no, not at all.
no. Okay, that makes sense then, because I was wondering if you like if you ever saw him, you know, lose his temper or anything like that. Like, notice any
Yeah,
signs of aggression.
yeah. That's one of things you see from him was aggression, and no matter what it was, like physically or mentally, like he's always abusive to all of us. But
Okay,
we weren't close to him. You know what I mean? None of us, even when we lived with him
Right.
periods of time, like
oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's
I understand
completely.
completely.
Well,
But
lady,
we're gonna help, and thank you so much.
yeah, thank
I
you.
will.
Go ahead, Ash.
Oh, sorry. Lisa commented. I'm gonna bring it up here real quick. I just seen it. It caught my eye, and now I don't even know what I was gonna say.
Wait.
I started talking, and then I started reading Lisa's comment here that I popped up,
Okay.
and I lost. I don't. I think I was just gonna, kind of wrap things up. If you guys you guys want to take some time to
Yeah.
think about it and, like I said, jot things down that you would still like to speak on, and you're in the family. You can message me. I'll message you every day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just want to run these stories and be on to the next one. I want to, create a relationship with everybody. And
Yeah.
Thank you for your concern.
you guys have a safe place now, okay?
Yeah. And
Yeah, and
much
it made that
appreciated.
really aware. Us aware of that tonight. You did me
Yes.
really.
And that's all. That's all we ask. So
Thank you
I
for letting me
appreciate you
help
guys
and
coming. And I know it's
Yeah,
hard.
thank you so
I
much.
know it's hard. But you're helping in a very good grand scheme of things that we're
yeah,
trying to bring a
good
positive
cause and good people and everyone deserves, justice.
Well, thank you.
If you think of anything else, well,
Yeah, reach
Thank
out
you
to
for
any of us girls. Reach out to them.
anyway. All right, have a good night. Thank you.
All
Thank you
righty,
so
I'll see
much.
Okay.
you
Thank you
later.
so
Thank
much.
you so much. Bye.
Okay, see, I'm not used to
Okay.
working with multiple
That
people on here, so
I
is it
know. I'm
you?
sorry.
You know me, so I know. Okay, you're still on here, right?
I'm
Who else did
sorry.
I hang up
Well,
on?
maybe it sounded fine on the other end. I hope you do have it off, right?
No, I'm on. I'm getting ready to hop off now. We're still live. I
Okay.
just was trying to see who all I would hang up on, and it was one at a time like that, right? Okay.
Okay.
So a little bit bloopers at the end there. Sorry, guys. Another
Okay.
proof that I'm terrible
Bye.
at technology. So we're gonna hop off. I appreciate you watching. I'm Ash with TC, and
And
we'll see
I'm
you. Yeah, there you go.
and I'm Jennifer.
We'll get it.
All right. Good night, guys. Bye.